Hello, everybody. This is Greatest Becoming Greater with GBG Rants. Today, we're going to talk about the things that you value are the things that you're attracted to. And the more you value it, the more you're attracted to it. And the things that you devalue, you're less attracted to it. And there are things that we don't realize that we value, and there are things that we realize that we don't value, that we take for granted. And so, people often say that they want a person of integrity, honor, but then they find themselves in toxic relationships with dishonorable people. And there is something that entices them to get into these relationships. Like, we always say we want the bad, people say they want the bad boy or the bad girl, things. So how does this happen? So some of the values that we have are taught by family, community, and some of them are based off your experiences. So you might grow up in a conservative household where you're taught good values, right? And it may sink in, and you have community who teach you certain values that may sink in. And your community may or may not be good. That's people from school, people you hang out with. And then you have the experiences. So, things happen as we grow up, and we might see a loving relationship or a troubling relationship. And depending on how close that is to us, we might subliminally start to value that, and your values change and your attractions change over time. So, I will say, I think people do believe that whatever they're attracted to is not their choice, but to an extent, I believe you have a choice of everything. Okay. But an example of an attraction that changes is sometimes you find people who date somebody, and the relationship was so traumatizing that they won't date anyone with certain characteristics. So let's say if it's a guy, right? He might have been into like skinnier or thicker women or shorter women. And let's say we give an example of a woman who was maybe, let's say, shorter, thicker, whatever. And so the relationship was so traumatizing that whenever he sees a woman of that description, it's an instant turn off for him. So his value for that style of person has gone down. Now, they may be a great person, but because of the trauma that happened to him, he doesn't value it anymore. Or on the lady side, where they might have dated like a super tall guy who might have had a certain facial hair or something, and skin tone, all that, and they did them so bad that they're turned off from any guy who fits that description now. So their value has changed. They don't value those characteristics anymore. And sometimes in doing that, we can miss people who might be good for us, and that's what we got to search out. Like, we got to figure out, why do we value or devalue these things? What has happened to me to cause me not to be attracted to these characteristics? Because if you're not attracted to something, then that means you don't value it, or things like that. And another thing that I've noticed from ladies who end up having children, or they get older and they realize some things, is that as you go through these transitions of getting older or having children, your values change because of the lifestyle you live now. So when you start having children, it's raising children is not an easy job. Okay. And I believe it's a reason why it should be two people to help do the job, to share the load, right? And then it should be a community to help there. But, that's what I'm trying to build, a community, because the community that we have these days is looking hopeless. But if we can come together and start rebuilding, anything is possible. But when a person who has children finds a person who's really helpful, really genuine, is willing to make those sacrifices for them, Like they value it because it's an important part of their life, and it should already have been your value before you hook up with people and things like that. It should already have been your value, but like we learning and growing, so some people just don't got the we just don't got the tools. That's why we doing this, to put the tools out. But as you learn later, it's like these are the characteristics I need in a partner to help me to grow. And this goes also for businesses and things like that. In any type of relationship you in, when you doing any type of work, you want to value the people who are willing to do those good things for you. But for people with children, they started to value people who are willing to be more considerate of others, who are willing to put time in to help them achieve the goal. You know what I mean? And not just being selfish and only thinking about themselves. And so their values change, and they begin to look for these things in other person and appreciate them, and then go for these type of people. But like I said, and we make, as making this video, hope things sink in so that we change our values early, so we don't end up in these situations around toxic people and bound to these situations with toxic people. And a few things that people find attractive or they value, and pinpointing this, I think it's just human nature at some point in time. That's why I feel like we really need to teach our children and friends and family and everything as we come up. A lot of people are attracted to mystery, and so they might date somebody because of the mystery and not because of the integrity. Or some people date people because it's an inner desire, like to be protected or to have somebody who's loyal to you, but they might be toxic in other areas, but because we had that one thing we value, we end up with them. Or some people didn't have physical affection in their household, so when they got it, it was something they really value. And some people don't know they value these things, and it's important for us to seek ourselves out to figure this out. People don't know that they value the physical attention or words of affirmation, so when they get it from a person, it's like their heart feels a certain way, and they don't even know why themselves. And that person could be horribly toxic, but because they're giving them something that they value, that person don't even know that they value, they get hooked to it, and they're attracted to that thing, and they're super attached. So we got to figure out, like, okay, why am I attached to this person? Why am I attracted to it? And we got to get all the way to our roots and our core and figure those things out. Some people are attracted to people who have a lot of money. If they know that somebody has a lot of money, then all of a sudden they look good to them, you know? And I don't think that's a good reason to be attracted to somebody, but it's the truth. Some people are attracted to that. Some people are attracted to a person who they feel brings excitement because it's something that they yearn for in their life. And there is healthy excitement, and there's healthy money, but being attracted to that value in that and being attracted to that only is what causes the problems, because you might have an exciting life, but it's all this crazy stuff going on. And I think some people identify that they know it's toxic, but they still want the excitement, and that's what they attracted to. And so some people think that they're attracted to a person of integrity and honesty and stuff, but when they get with a person, they feel like it's boring. And so when you feel like those things are boring, like the honorable characteristics are boring, then you don't value it, because it's almost like a passion. When you have a passion for something, right? Like somebody can have a passion for card collecting, but to somebody else, that's absolutely boring. To that person who's doing card collecting, it's not boring. So when you have a passion or a value to something, you appreciate it. So you might in your head think that's what you want and you value it, but you don't, because when you value it, you're going to take care of it a certain way and you'll light up a certain way. A lot of people value laughter, and it's few people who don't value laughter. So a person who can make you laugh is a high value trait in most people. So when they get that, it's automatically attracted to it, you know, good or bad. I've seen that a lot of times. And one of the easiest times to get caught slipping is when a person is down. If a person is down and depressed and lonely, and your value for camaraderie or any type of affection or any type of socialization is extremely high. So the person who comes in at that time where you highly value those things, it's easier for them to take advantage of you and for you to become attracted to them because you had a value for it. It could be somebody even who you thought was super unattractive, you know? The fact that they gave you that time, like your heart, it changes and you find them attractive and you're drawn to them. Whether they're good or bad, you become drawn to them. And so we need to be careful in those moments where we're lacking in areas, and like I'm saying this so we can identify what we value, because we might not know we value it, and that person comes in at that wrong or right time and they say all these things and they fill that void that we value, and we become attracted to that thing and bond to that person. So all in all, in knowing this, like I said, we got to go to solutions. So we need to look in ourselves, identify what we're attracted to, why we're attracted to, the conditions. You know what I mean? Like example, we brought up, like, you might have had, like, I know people who grown up in houses with abusive parents, and so they subliminally became attracted to it even though they would not like to be in it. You know, it's like an addiction. So we got to identify it and then work on changing our values, rewriting our brain to be like, this is not what I want, this is not good, you know. And then I don't think it's good for us to dwell on wrong. So after you identify it, the best thing I say to do is, you can't reward evil by doing evil or thinking evil a lot. You have to push evil out with goodness. So you got to fill yourself with good things, with positive things, with things that are going to help your mind, and that'll push out the things you devalue. I mean, they'll push out the things you value, and you'll begin to value other things. They'll take the place. So you have to fill your cup up with a different type of liquid. So it's like having Kool-Aid, and you just pour the water in until it flows. Sooner or later, that Kool-Aid is going to pour out and your water will become clean. So that's it, GBG Rants. If y'all got any comments or any ideas, like I said, a lot of this stuff I'm brainstorming. I'm just trying to find solutions. My views on this may change later as we grow and get different ideas, and I'll do updates to a lot of these videos later with my new understanding as we continue to grow, y'all. So just let me know what y'all think and your perspective. Be blessed, and it's becoming greater out.